Okay, students, let's discuss IELTS reading passage 1 and the topic is Industrial Revolution in Britain. Two type of questions are given. Number 1, fill in the blanks, one word only. And number 2, true, false, not given. So I have already told you that when passage is not labeled, all the questions will be in order. And if the passage is labeled like A, B, C, D, E, F, then the second type of question, type B question, will be given, and those questions are not in order. So all the question will be ordered. So you have to attempt passage 1 and passage 3 first in exam, then you have to attempt passage 2 if you want to save your time. This is a very time saving technique to attempt unlabeled passage first. Okay, so let's start. One word only. If you write 2 words, your answer will be considered wrong. So first of all, you have to read instructions. Steam power. New Commons steam engine was used in mines to remove water. In Watt and Bolton's steam engine, the movement of the dash was linked to a gear system. The movement of dash. Underline the word movement. We will find synonymous words of these words like movement. Then we will be able to identify the exact word. So let's find the word Watt and Bolton, where it is given. In the second passage, 4th line. In the 1760s, the Scottish engineer James Watt started to adapt one New Commons models and succeeded in making it for more efficient. Watt later worked with the English manufacturing Matthew Bolton to invent a new steam engine driven by both forward and backward strokes of the piston. Forward and backward strokes means movement. If you identify the word movement, then you will be able to write piston. So the answer will be piston. Question number 2. A greater supply of dash was required to power steam engines. Let's find
Third paragraph, line 1.
third passage, line 1. The demand for coal, which was a relatively cheap energy source, grew rapidly. Grew rapidly mean greater supply. Greater supply is synonymous with grew rapidly during the Industrial Revolution. So we will write coal in second passage. So this is a technique. Find the word that are synonymous to the given word. Demand is also a synonym of greater. When something is in demand, you have to produce it in greater amounts. Are you getting my points? Okay. Let's move on to the question 3, textile industry. So we have left steam powers. Now we are moving to the textile industry. You will be given 20 minutes. So you don't have much time to think, to read all the lines. If we have to answer unlabeled question, ordered questions, we will just read 13 lines. We won't read all the passages because you have to solve a passage in 20 minutes only. So first of all, we find textile industry. Let's read question 3. Before the Industrial Revolution, spinners and weavers worked at home and in dash. Let's find textile industry and then spinners and weaver. The very next passage. Britain had produced textile like wool, linen and cotton for hundreds of years. But prior to the Industrial Revolution, British textile business was a true cottage industry with the work performed in small workshops or even by homes, individual spinners, weavers and dyers. So the one is given home. Now we will write workshop. Can you write small workshops? No. Why? What is the reason? Because you have to write one word only. So we will write workshops. Number 4. Not as much dash was needed to produce cloth once the spinning jenny and power loom were invented. Not as much dash was needed. Let's find in the next passage.
Third last line.
Third last line. The work performed in small workshops. Viewers, we will read onwards. Starting in the mid 17, innovates like the spinning, jenning, and power which cloth and spinning yarn the thread easier. With these machines, relatively little labor was required to produce cloth. Little mean not as much. So we will write labor, and required mean needed. So you have found two synonyms. So you can find the answer easily. So we will write labor in question 4. Next, iron industry. Without wasting time, we will go to iron industry. Next page, very first passage. First we will read question. Smelting of iron ore with coke resulted in material that was better dash. Let's read. In the fourth line, this method was cheaper and produced metals that were of higher quality. The synonym of better is higher, and then you will write quality in the fifth, fill in the blank. Demand for iron increased with the growth of the dash. Let's read onwards. Enabling Britain's iron and steel production to expand in response to demand created by the Napoleonic Wars and the expansion of the railways from 1830s. Expansion means growth of. So you will write railways in question 6. So it's very easy. If you find the synonym of the previous word or the word after the fill in the blank, then it's very easy for you to find the answer. Next, communications. So you can see that two lines are given, but there is no MCQs. So these lines are for connection, are for relevance, because the writer wants to take you to the answer of the next fill in the blank. He wants to relate. Let's read. Coke and Wheatstone pretended the first telegraphy system. The telegraphy system was used to prevent locomotives colliding. Urbanization. We will move to the urbanization passage. Small town turned into cities very quickly. The new cities were dirty, crowded, and lacked sufficient dash.
Third paragraph, last line.
Third passage, last line. This rapid urbanization brought significant challenges as overcrowded cities suffered from pollution and inadequate sanitation. We cannot write pollution here because here given lacked sufficient, that is synonymous to inadequate. So what was inadequate? Sanitation. We will write sanitation because student can think why we cannot choose pollution. So this is the reason, because here he mentioned lacked sufficient, so it means inadequate. Question number 8 to 13. To the following statement agree the with information. True, false, not given. If statement agrees with the information, write true. If the statement contradicts the information, write false. And if there is no information on this, write not given. Sometimes students get confused and they write yes, no, not given in place of true, false, not given. So if you write true, false in place of yes, no, your answer will be considered wrong. So you have to keep in mind all the instruction. Question number 8. Britain's canal network grew rapidly. Underline some keywords that help you find answer. That more goods could be transported around the country. The canal system grew and more goods. Have you read canal system? First passage, fourth line. Goods that had once been crafted by hand started to produce in mass quantities by machines, like thanks to invention of steam power and introduction of techniques, iron making and other industries. No, here is no mention of canal system. So when there is no mention of anything, we will write not given. We will write not given. Question number 9. Costs in the iron industry rose when the technique of smelting iron ore with coke was introduced. Let's read next passage. Next page passage first. The method was cheaper and produced metals that were of higher quality. The method was cheaper, and here he mentioned cost in iron industry rose when the technique of smelting iron ore with coke was introduced. So this will be false. Next 10. Samuel Morse communication system was more reliable than that developed by William Cook and Charles Wheatstone. Next passage. In 1837, British inventors William Cook and Charles Wheatstone patented the first communication telegraphy system. In 1813 and 1840, Samuel Morse worked on the version in the United States. Cook and the Wheatstone system was soon used for railway signaling in the UK. Speed of the new locomotive increased, essential to have fast and effective means of avoiding collisions. But here is no comparison between these two systems. So we will write not given, because he doesn't compare anything here. There is mention of these two systems, but there is no comparison. Your keyword is more reliable than William Cook. Is Morse's communication system is more reliable? No. The writer doesn't mention that this was reliable and this was not. He only mentions that both systems significantly introduced changes. Next, the economic benefits of industrialization were limited to the certain sectors of society. Read fourth passage. Although industrialization increased the country's economic output overall and improved the standards of living for the middle and upper class, many poor people continued to struggle. So it means the economic benefits were only limited to two classes, middle and upper class. So this will be the right option. We will write true in front of it, because economic benefits of industrialization were limited to certain sectors of society. Here is a mention of only two classes. So we will write true. Some skilled weavers believed that the introduction of the new textile machines would lead to job losses. If you read in the same passage, the fourth last line, many had spent years learning their craft and they feared that unskilled machine operators were robbing them of their livelihood. It means that machines are taking livelihood of the people. It means skill weaver, the new textile machine would lead to job losses. This is true. Okay, last. There was some sympathy among local people for the Luddites who were arrested near Huddersfield. Third last line. The unrest finally reached, last passage, fourth last line. The unrest finally reached its peak in April 1812 when a few Luddites were shot during an attack on mill near Huddersfield. In these days that followed, were arrested and dozens were hanged out, transported to Australia by 1813. The Luddite resistance had all but vanished. He doesn't mention that people showed sympathy for those people. So there is no mention of sympathy. So we will write not given. So you have seen we have solved this passage before 20 minutes. So these are the techniques. If you keep in mind these techniques, you will be able to solve this passage within 20 minutes.